Have you ever been scalded, maybe by hot steam from an iron or a hot cup of coffee? As most of us have experienced, burns like that can hurt. Can you imagine what it would feel like to have that scalding hot water cover half of your body all at once? Sadly, over the last 4 years, a devastating new trend has a growing number of infants and young children experiencing just that. Here is Brad Temple, a senior attorney for West Bend Mutual Insurance Company's Specialty Lines Division, to discuss this trend.
In the last 4 years, we've seen 5 claims come in involving burns to children as a result of pulling a crock pot and having that scalding water come down on their bodies and cause significant burns. Those 5 claims are in the top 7 as far as claims go for our child care centers, general liability claims, as far as being the most severe injuries, the highest medical treatment, just really some of the worst injuries that we've seen. The problem arises when you have the slow cooker. It's usually placed up on a shelf or a counter, and it has to be plugged in. There's the cord that dangles there, and a lot of times the kids who are burned are younger, and they're very curious, and so they see the cord coming down from the slow cooker, and a lot of our cases involve kids grabbing onto the cord and pulling on it.
In 2007, a 19-month-old girl did exactly that in her child care center in Wisconsin. Scalding hot water from the slow cooker quickly covered large portions of her chest, shoulders, and back. Blistering occurred almost immediately, and she will likely have this deep scarring for the rest of her life. There are 2 major concerns with slow cookers being used for any reason around young kids. As Brad mentions, the lack of a magnetic breakaway cord is one of those concerns. The other problem is the difficulty associated with maintaining a standard temperature. To get a better understanding of how the temperature of hot liquids can impact a young child, we spoke with Dr. Michael Schur, burn and trauma surgeon at the University of Colorado Hospital.
Scald burns are typically second-degree burns, but they're typically very, very painful burns, and for the most part they heal up over a 7 to 10 day period. But once you start to get temperatures more than 160, 180, or 200 degrees, those are going to be all full-thickness burns that require surgery. So we've had patients that we've operated on 6 or 7 times in the first year to year and a half after the injury, trying to release that scar so the hands function normally, so they can learn how to write and they can learn how to color and they can learn how to play the piano and throw a baseball as they get older.
Children are experiencing deep tissue burns over the majority of their body just so we can warm their bottles. But why do we even warm baby bottles in the first place? Is there any evidence supporting the need to warm formula or breast milk? To get answers to these questions, we sat down with Dr. Joan Arvidsson of the Feeding, Swallowing, and Nutrition Center at the Children's Hospital of Wisconsin in Milwaukee. Dr. Arvidsson is an internationally renowned clinician and author of 3 books on infant feeding.
We don't have any evidence that there is a need to warm the formulas or the expressed breast milk, either in terms of the liquids themselves, which are very safe and they do not need to be warmed, or for the infant who is taking the bottle. I think it's been a habit often that people warm formulas and warm other liquids that are in a bottle, but nobody ever warms juice, and occasionally infants are given juice as well. There are some parents who say that the baby seems to take the formula better if the bottle is warmed, but that's probably habit, and if we work with the infants, they're going to learn to take it at room temperature or even chilled.
We hope at this point you recognize the very real dangers associated with scald burns and slow cookers. These excruciating, life-changing injuries are 100% avoidable by taking only a few simple steps. The first step is to encourage manufacturers to add breakaway cords to all slow cookers. After all, breakaway cords can already be found on other household appliances like deep fryers and fondue pots. Why not slow cookers? The next step is raising awareness with parents, guardians, and child care providers.
After we received our first claim and I was made aware of this problem, I went into my son's child care center and I looked around to see, hey, are they using slow cookers to warm up bottles? And I had a conversation with the director of the center, and I had a conversation with the teacher, because I wanted to make sure they knew, because they might not have known, the real hazard that these things can pose.
And I think you have to safety-proof your home or your place of business, where you make sure that any potential exposure to heat or hot liquids or flames is removed from the environment.
So the importance of never having any kind of opportunity for a child to become burned or pull any kind of an object off of a sink or some other surface is so critical, and we must keep making those adjustments.